I just made a video about Mark Lamont Hill breaking down over the potential use of the N-word, and he just was in tears, melting down, and in the process he was calling Myron Gaines, his opposition on the other side of the argument, an Uncle Tom.
There's a bunch of white people up here, and one Uncle Tom on the left here, and
for engaging with the ideas that might have brought this use of the word by Shiloh Hendricks and the subsequent over $500,000 raised for her into context. Now, given that, and given that I just made a video about why the N-word has such a profoundly negative gravity on such people, that the potential use of it caused this meltdown, I want to illustrate for you the 2 times in my life that I've used this word publicly. Yes, the N-word. Both relate to basketball because black people bandy that word about the courts on a regular basis. N-word, please. N-word this. Yo, N-word, pass me the ball. This is what happens when you play on a predominantly 6 to 8 out of 10 players that you're playing with are of the darker persuasion. And believe me, it's a regular common occurrence, and I'd been playing with these guys for the entire summer. I was like 23 years old, and I'm a good player. I definitely fit in, and there was a rival point guard that was bringing the ball up the court, and I always wait for somebody to try to cross over. And then I just stick out my left hand, and I picked him, and I picked him clean. And he grabbed my shirt from behind, and he realized that I was calling it, but he called a foul on me. And I was so incensed, I turned around to him, and I'm like, Edward, please. And everybody on the court sat there in silence and in shock. And I turned around and I prepared to sprint away, and suddenly one started to laugh, knowing that it was me and that I had a relationship with him, and then the whole court busted up with laughter, and it was totally okay. I did not use the word again with those guys, but it was condoned. The second time that I used the N-word was with my friend Kevin. And Kevin and I used to play basketball together. Kevin is 6'5", 250 pounds. He is a big guy, and he's a pretty darn good shot and good basketball player. We used to play one-on-one games, and although I'm smaller than him, I'm a little quicker, and the games used to go down to the wire. He won the series 4-3. I had a shot rim in and out that would have won the game for me, and then he called a BS foul on me. But anyways, I was very close to Kevin, and we used to joke around every single day. And we had a very tight relationship where I could get away with saying anything to him because he knew that I was joking and that I meant well for him. And so finally I said, Kevin, you guys are always using the word, the N-word, between yourselves. And I feel a little bit left out. And I want to tell you that I love you. And, you always tell people, you my N-word. And I want to say that to you. And I want your permission to be able to do that. And he looked at me and says, yeah, man. Yeah. I'm like, all right, man, you my N-word. And he gave me a big hug because he knew that I did not mean it in a derogatory, negative way. And I understand that we have this whole societal craziness about this word, and that we have to be, and I understand that it comes from a past, and that is been promoted as the worst possible word that you could use for a person. Just so that you know, in Spanish, the word negro means black. It's kind of where it comes from. And over time, it's evolved, and like a snowball going down the hill of negativity, it's grown in size in terms of the weight and profoundly negative associations that people have with the word. But as I mentioned in my last video, I wish that we could all just drop the negativity and realize that the person utilizing the word is not necessarily coming from a good place, but not to be like Mark Lamont Hill and just utterly break down over it, because it's not helpful. And that, I guess at times, for black people, it's allowed to be used, and sometimes it can be deemed appropriate for a white man to use that with his friends. It takes a little time to get there. I'm not unproud of it that I was allowed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Peace.